yoga as per different seasons. I mean, what exactly does that mean? And that's what we are going to talk with Cora Yen. She is a yoga teacher par excellence. She has been teaching yoga for the last 25 plus years. She has also contributed and helped do clinical studies in yoga. Clinical studies we are talking about in yoga with UCSF, which is the finest institution in the world, and also with National Institute of Health. I am super excited to introduce all of you to Cora Yen, who is joining me live from San Francisco, California. Welcome and namaste, Cora.
Well, namaste, Amita. Thank you so much for having me on Nourish Talk. I appreciate the time and energy and attention of everyone. Well, it's a perfect time because we just turned to spring. We just shifted seasons with the vernal equinox, so we came from winter to spring. And I don't know if wherever you are, but don't you feel it? Don't you feel that there's like more energy now? There's something that was more, almost more sleepy in the winter. There's a feeling we have where it's cold and it's wet. Even if you're not in a snowy area, I live in California, but it's still cold, you know, in relationship in San Francisco, and it's wet. It's the season of water. So there's a season where you want to kind of be inside, like, you know, maybe doing more slower movement, maybe not jumping up and down. You just don't have that same energy. It's the real season, if you think about the yin and the yang, it's the yin. It's the most yin of times. It's the darkness, the coolness, the feminine. And that time of year, we tend to want to rest. But now we just changed. We just changed to spring just the other day. And now we've turned to this season that's of more movement of wood. So in Chinese medicine, it's wood. Now that, if you think about it, is growth. It's the energy of movement. It's the earth. Everything around us is breaking through. The flowers are breaking through. Little buds are just beginning to peep. You might have some snow, but there's little buds that are starting to peep. So that energy is movement. It's movement of upward. So if you think about the earth, in the winter, we were a bit more sort of that soft, watery sensation of maybe more nap time. So now it's a time that we can begin to move more. So one of the things I really encourage is to move the upper body, the arms, like moving the arms, just moving the arms up, just reaching up. This is a wonderful experience of lifting up. I mean, of course, it's like something that we do in yoga. We go like, you know, for a Surya Namaskar, but when do we ever do that? When do we ever like just lift our arms? This is a joyous movement. It's a season that we can begin to feel more exuberant, moving out of the dullness of winter. So now, often I would begin to teach a bit more activity. Perhaps in the winter, I'd move more slowly and work with people and the energy of the season. You know, we get tired during the holidays. There's like the Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's. So we're all exhausted. And then it's winter, it's cold. So you don't feel like doing cartwheels. Maybe you never feel like doing cartwheels, but this might be the time to do a cartwheel. It's as though the spring is upon us. We're about to explode into color. We're about to have the flowers bloom from the trees coming up from the ground. So could you start to move the entire body? So the legs to the arms. So if you're just standing up, just moving the arms up. It's like if you were the Leonardo man, you know, just moving that arms up.
The Da Vinci, right?
An exuberant, right? I mean, don't you feel like this now? It's, you know, there's a peep of more energy. There's a peep of the world changing. In our times too, in the COVID times, the world is beginning to have some more hope. There's some blossoming. So another pose that, or another type of poses that I would recommend is doing twisting. It's as though you could just twist the body, right? It's as though you're twisting the body, twisting the season from the darkness to the light, right? It's like we say that in yoga, we're looking to come from the darkness of our ignorance, into the light of our wisdom. So you would need to turn the body. Now, most of us, when we twist, just turn the head. We just turn the head. We think that that's a twist, but here, even if you're not standing up, I'm gonna just kneel, okay? Because if I stand up, I'll lose the frame. But if you turn your head, just turn to the right, turn to the left. You see a quarter of the room? Yeah. Now, your navel is like a belly, your belly button is like a flashlight. Turn the flashlight toward the right. Now turn your head. You can see probably behind you. Now turn back to center. Turn the navel toward the left. Then turn your head. You'll see that you suddenly have much more of the way to see a change of view. So it's a perfect time to add this idea of changing your view. Now, in Chinese medicine, this is the season of the liver and gallbladder, and we were in the season of the kidney and urinary bladder before. So I'm mirroring you, but physically my liver is on the right, but it's on your right if this is the right when you're looking at me. But what I would also do is side bending, because you're feeding that liver. Could you see that the liver would be fed by the movement of bending side to side, which is a very, very good action for shifting your view again. It's a movement that we use when we work with trauma, where you take look from one side to the other, one side to the other. It's a way of shifting the brain. You know, when your eyes turn, you're actually telling the brain to connect the dots. So this idea of shifting the seasons from the yin, this feminine, dark, cool, to this exuberant yang, it's like the newest yang, the newest energy of movement, so that we can add some twists. You can do it in a chair. You can do it, you know, when you're watching the news and getting up for a break. You don't have to find that hour. Just add a twist. Add some side movement. Move the arms up. Feel the sun coming back down into you. It's as though you could be illuminated from the warmth that is coming to us. I mean, there's so many ways that we could look at the seasons. I raise orchids, and they are always reminders that even the most least attractive, kind of not so exciting thing can blossom for something amazing. You've all probably had an orchid and then it died, and you're kind of like, oh my God, what do I do with this thing? It looks so terrible. It looks so terrible. It looks so terrible. Well, give it some love, give it some sun and some water and some care, and it might bloom for you. So the same way that we can take care of ourselves and our heart, if we can nurture ourselves with the seasons that are changing, eating the foods that are good to eat now. I mean, don't you want to eat more salads? I do. I didn't in the wintertime. Cold food, ugh, yuck. Now I want sprouts and sprouting green vegetables. I want to move. I want to perhaps even sing, you know, add some chanting, add some mudras, add something that makes the heart sing. It's perfect time. And that could be your yoga. Doesn't have to be a sun salutation.
Beautiful,
Just
absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. So yeah, and then what should we do in summer? Because the summer is the heat season. You know,
Yes.
right? There's a pitta season in Ayurveda. That's what they call it. In Chinese medicine, I don't know what the reference is for summer.
Yes, so we're getting ready. It's like you're planting the seeds, right? And like for all of us, we have the idea in winter. You plant the seeds, right, in the spring. You nurture them through the summer. You harvest, right? And then you put away and maintain. So we've come out of this shelving and storing, winter storing like a chipmunk or a woodpecker storing their nuts. So now it's the time to plant some seeds. Plant some seeds of ideas for this year, for the future. Plant some seeds for taking care of yourself. Remember the oxygen theory, when you can't take care of the other person unless you take care of the oxygen first, right? Like they say on the plane, you can't help the other person unless you first take care of yourself. So make sure you do that. Eat right, sleep well, get moving a little bit. Take a big inhalation, exhalation, feel that fresh air, and know that there's a whole new year ahead of us, and there's a lot of hope.
Mhm.
There's a lot of spontaneity now. Do something, that you maybe haven't done, like I painted my wall. That wasn't that exciting, but for me it was. And it just kind of made me love my area, my space more. So do some twisting, do some side bending, move the whole body, and
What type
find
of
foods that are fresh now to eat.
So specifically, let's talk about specific asanas. Like maybe you can give us a couple of examples for springtime asanas and simple
Yeah,
breathing.
absolutely. I'm going to get a chair. So I'm going to show you a couple of options that I really like because not everyone can do all the fancy asanas.
Yeah.
So I like to show ways that we can move. So many of us have a chair. I have a backless chair, but if you think about a dining chair or a kitchen chair, works really well. No arms works really well. So you could take the chair. Imagine this is the back of the chair. So if I were sitting down, my bum is here. This is the back of the chair. I'm going to sit on the side, and I'll just plant my legs, and then inhale, exhale, turn toward the chair. So you're getting a really nice twist here. You see that? So you hold on to the chair. Now take an inhalation in, and as you exhale, begin to turn the belly. You'll pull and push on the chair. You'll figure out which one is pull and push. Now inhale, release the body, and as you exhale, pull and push and turn. Now, one more time. Inhale, and as you exhale, turn the belly, turn the head, and twist. And then coming back to center, turn around on the chair, just go to the other side of the chair. So if you were doing the right side, you'll do the left side. And now I'm facing on the other side of the chair. I'm going to spin my belly toward the back of the chair, holding on. Then taking an inhalation in. And as I exhale, remember that flashlight, turn the navel. Notice if your shoulders are hunched up, bring them down and turn. Inhale, release. And as you exhale, push and pull and turn. Now, one more time. Inhale and exhale. Now, that was an easy twist, but I want to show you a way that you could add something to make it even more interesting. So I've got a pile of bolsters here. You could use a block or anything that you have that you could stand on. So if you have a block or just a cushion or something, you can stand. Can you see that? So what I like to do here is I'm sitting on a chair again. I'm now going to put one foot up and one foot forward. So you see that I've now got one leg up, one leg straight. Now I'm going to turn toward the bent leg. I can take my arm across, I can use the chair now, and I'm basically in a version of Marichyasana, a seated twist. But this is a much easier version. You can add it into your daily desk time.
Correct.
It's just an easy way. So again, you'll take your arm across, inhale, lift up, and as you exhale, turn. Turn the belly first. Inhale, release. Exhale, turn. And then one more time. Inhale and exhale. To do the other side, you just take the pile. You could use a footstool. Sometimes I just use a little footstool, or maybe just something soft, even if it's just to lift your legs. So do you see how I'm here? I've got one leg straight, I've got one leg bent, and now I'm going to turn toward the bent leg. So this is actually quite a big twist, but it's not as difficult when you're sitting up. So you would do 3 breaths again. This is the second breath. And then last time, inhale and exhale.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to show the same pose, but on the ground. And on the ground, you can see that it becomes a little bit more for the body. So if I'm sitting on a bolster, I take the leg, one leg is bent. Now, do you see that as I twist and turn, this is a much deeper pose. But do you see how this and the other version are actually the same? So you can do it here on a bolster. You can do it on the ground. But once you're on the ground, the tendency is, see, this happens, and then there's no breath. So that's why I like to use a little bit more support, because not all of us have the same flexibility. And so it allows you to feel the action. Now, just really quick, something that we all need to do every day, if we can, is just take the arms, so the legs are wide, the arms are wide, and then just take the arm over to the side. And I like to counterbalance this, so it feels, otherwise the arm is hanging. So it's like, oh, feel that liver. And then the other side, inhale and exhale. Oh, the liver's getting squished now. And again, other side, just lift up and over. Oh, can you feel that all this armpit area? We say in the lineage of yoga that I study in the Iyengar method, we say that you can't be depressed if you have open armpits. Because this area of the body tends to be compressed, especially more on the computer.
Okay.
So this area, open it up, free it. So when you twist, you can see that you have to free, because this gets in the way. All this stuff gets in the way. So it's the idea of twisting, the idea of moving that body can really get the energy flowing. Also, you're moving from the back to the front to the back. So we're really getting this full body. And that's why this just, so if you don't want to stand up, or if perhaps you have balance, if you have a balance issue, no problem. You can do the same thing sitting down on a chair. Just sit down and hold on, right? Inhale and exhale. Right? And then just push the air away. And then other side, inhale, exhale. Now turn the hand, push the air, push it away. Yes, so this is, again, you can feel that the way the body gets to start to move. Holding onto a stool like this, you can just begin to twist. You can hold on and just turn and just linger there and feel how it feels to just get the body to turn and twist. And then just the other side, just turning and twist. If you have a regular asana practice and you do poses, sort of the familiar poses of a triangle or right angle pose, just try the revolved version. So actually this was sorry, that was a wood on wood, it would slide. So if you use a block, for instance, and you're going to do a triangle pose, right? This is a classic pose. Yeah, try the opposite, the other pose. That's the twist.
Oh, like
the
that.
Revolve.
Okay.
Because that is just a way that you can kind of see, it's one thing to get this open, but it's another thing to turn the body. So don't worry about this back leg. If it comes up, that's fine. But just get the body to twist.
Yeah.
Or you could do just from here, coming down, holding onto a block. You could just slide that block forward and just turn it over toward the side, reaching. And turn it over toward the side, reaching.
Mhm.
And the reason I like this a lot, Amita and everybody else that's listening, is these kinds of poses are keeping the whole body free. Meaning, I have air and space, front body, back body, side body. I do not feel compressed, right? Some of the seated twists, you saw that as I got closer to the ground, I become more compressed, right? So if we're doing these kinds of poses, do it with a sort of a lifted heart. Get this area to open. Don't struggle to get into the pose. Let the breath expand, which is why I like to teach with props. People say, oh, those props, but we all have a chair somewhere in the house. You know, it might be, you know, there's some days I don't want to move too much. There's been a lot of days this last year that felt so heavy, I couldn't move as much. So having a little bit of support is very helpful.
Mhm.
And for anyone that's having just too much COVID brain,
COVID brain.
too much COVID brain, just get a chair, get a support, get whatever you need. Take your legs wide, okay? Because this will let air come in. And just come down. Just come down with your head supported. So if you see me from here, taking the legs wide and just coming down. Because again, in this position, I have the ability to take the breath and bring the attention to the breath in the front body, the back body, the side body. I have nothing that's holding or compressing in my body. I can just let breath come. So that with the head supported, just begin to bring the breath into the area that we don't think of, meaning we think of the breath here, but bring it to the side, bring it to the back. It will make you very aware of the lungs. And the lungs are huge. They can carry, the lungs, they say, when we open them up, the two lungs could fit a tennis court. I mean, a tennis court, that's huge. And if we're going to flatten out all those, that area of the lungs. So just imagine that you could fill that tennis court with breath. And that actually does so much for calming one down, you know, helping to bring the COVID fatigue to a place that we can live.
Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. I love the way you're comparing our lungs to a tennis court and how you bring the air right into the tennis court and kind of movement.
I mean, to really now think it's like a lot of room. Get it everywhere. The arms to move to get it there.
Yes.
By the way,
yeah.
I heard that when you get your when you get jabbed with your shot, you need to move those arms.
Yes. Yes.
So again, move the arms, move the body, move the energy. It's like you move the energy and all the goodness into us.
Okay, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I love your work. Thank you so much for being with us, and I can't wait to offer some of your, you know, working together, collaborating. I cannot wait for that.
Exciting.
Yes, thank you so much for being
with
us.
Thank you, Anita. Thank you, Nourish Doc. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.